Good afternoon to you and welcome to the program. We are following several stories for you. We are in Kissy where Fred Muturi will be bringing us up to date with the rescue operations on the 10-story building that collapsed on Thursday. We're also following up on the story in Mombasa. Of course, reporter Francis Ontomwa will be joining us with the latest on the Health Committee and what the Parliament's Health Committee is due to inspect the mobile containers at the port of Mombasa. Welcome to the program. This is a KTN Newsdesk. We begin in Kissy, where rescue operations are due to resume any time from now after members of the Kenya Defence Forces arrived there a short while ago. Earlier, the mission at the 10-story building that collapsed on Thursday had been put on hold. Rescuers who have been at the scene were waiting for specialized equipment from KDF, saying there was very little excavators could do at this point. At least 6 people were killed and more than 40 injured when the building that was under construction collapsed on Thursday in Kissy town. The building at Daraja Moja, Nyambera Road near Ram Hospital came tumbling down mid-morning, bringing this town to a standstill. Kissy Governor James Ongwae is calling on the national government to hasten the efforts in the rescue mission as time is running out. It is believed that there could be more people trapped underneath the rubble. All right, let's now talk to Fred Muturi, who's joining us live. Fred, thank you so much for joining us. So the KDF have come with their specialized equipment. What kind of equipment are we talking about, and how soon can the rescue operations resume?
Yeah, the Kenya Defence Forces arrived here at around 20 minutes ago, and we have equipment here, the cutters and the drillers, and we expect them to do a thorough job in order to rescue the people who are suspected to be carved in that rubble. But for now, I'm joined here with the governor of Kissy town, James Ongwae, who has been here since yesterday, and then we can talk to him so that he can tell us what they expect to be done from the Kenya Defence Forces. Your Excellency, Governor, we can see the Kenya Defence Forces. They have come to the ground. What do you expect from them, and have they come with equipment that you think can help in the rescues in this area?
Thank you very much, Muturi, and thank you very much, KTN. We've been together with you since yesterday. We thank you for your support and for bringing this to all the Kenyans. As you know, from yesterday, we had our equipment here, we had the dosers and the other equipment here, but those equipment have reached a stage where they can't move any further, because we now need more delicate operations. And I'm thankful for the Kenya Defence Forces who have come, led by Lieutenant Colonel Maritim. They have come with sniffer dogs. They have also told me they have come with cutters. I am hoping that they would be able to cut through the debris and through the whatever is left of this building, so that they can reach our brothers and sisters who are there. We have already cordoned off the place, as you can see, so the place is very clear. Our equipment have also cleaned up this area so that they can be able to operate. We are hoping that this exercise should be finished today because of the lives of the people who are inside. We hope the sniffer dogs will be able to identify where there is life, and this is tragic for us here in Kissy.
I understand earlier on when we talked to you, you were complaining, saying that you had tried to reach the disaster management unit and they took long to arrive. What are the challenges they faced? Have they given you an answer of what happened?
I was not really complaining. I was saying this, happened yesterday at about 11 o'clock. I was here exactly 5 minutes after it had happened. I was here. The issue for me, what I was saying in the morning, is that probably national government as well as the county government, the disaster emergency level and the rate at which we should move to disaster should be slightly more urgent, because it's now slightly about 26 hours after the event. They probably would have been around after 12 hours, but they do say better late than never.
According to you, the statistics or the update of the people maybe who have died and others who have been rescued, can you give us a little bit update of that?
Yeah, we have 7 dead so far. We have 27 still in hospital. I've just left the hospital as I came, and they are receiving very, very good treatment. We have 17 who have been treated and discharged. The only ones that are worrying us are 3 of them who are in critical condition. But as you know, we have been able to, we have an ICU and HDU system which is working at the moment in the hospital, which is operational, so they are receiving the best treatment that they could be. Yes.
And are you needing more appeal? Because I understand you brought private contractors too here. Do you still need more, or you are satisfied with the Kenyan Defence Forces?
We will have to be guided by them now. But in the morning, I'd ordered private contractors to come in and start drilling. But I'm informed that even if they came, they would have to drill in a manner which is organized and under the guidance of the Kenya Defence Forces. But I've already given out, I've asked that one or two contractors be identified, those with drilling equipment, so that they can come and drill. The problem we had yesterday is we didn't know where to drill. Now that they have come with the sniffer dogs, they should be able to indicate so that the drilling is much more organized.
All right, thank you very much, Fred Moturi there, speaking to Kissy Governor James Ongwae on the rescue operations going on at the 10-story building that collapsed on Thursday in Kissy. We'll be coming back to Fred Moturi in the course of the bulletin. But let's now cross over to Mombasa, where investigations into the corruption scandal in the Ministry of Health are taking center stage. Parliament's Health Committee is due to inspect the mobile container clinics that are said to have been purchased by Afya House. Our reporter Francis Ontomwa is in Mombasa and now joins us with the latest from there. Francis, good afternoon. I understand the committee members are just about to finish with the investigation. Have they arrived at what they're looking for? All right, we will be going back to Francis Ontomwa. Remember, he is covering the Parliament's Health Committee, which is due to inspect the mobile container clinics that are said to have been purchased by Afya House. This is a corruption scandal that did take the country by storm. Reportedly, 5.3 billion shillings allegedly lost at the Ministry of Health. Investigations have been continuing, and these mobile container clinics were at the center stage of the corruption scandal. They're said to have cost a lot more than they were supposed to have initially cost. And of course, many said that this would undermine the efforts by First Lady Margaret Kenyatta in the Beyond Zero campaign. And the mobile container clinics are this afternoon being inspected by members of Parliament's Health Committee. Those there are pictures of the mobile containers that are said to have been bought by the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health, of course, saying that there is no corruption in the ministry, accusing the internal auditor of leaking the report without members or key members of the ministry having gone through that report. And it is a story that our course reporter Francis Ontomwa will be keeping us up to date with. And of course, these mobile container clinics were for maternal health, and it is an issue that angered Kenyans because many Kenyan women have been dying, children as well. Both maternal and infant mortality rates going quite high because of lack of proper mobile clinics in the county level. And we did have a Health Cabinet Secretary Cleopa Mailu, of course, deny those allegations. PS Nicholas Muraguri as well denying those allegations. Let's now talk to Francis Ontomwa, our course reporter, joining us live. Francis, good afternoon. Talk to us about what members of Parliament's Health Committee have found this afternoon.
Well, Akisa, the back and forth that Kenyans have been treated to as regards this Afya House scandal has seen members of the Health Committee, of course, make a visit here at the NYS premises at the Miritini area of Mombasa, where these containers, the consignment of some 100 containers, but I'm told there are only 99 at the moment, were brought here. And of course, they have not, they have been received here, but not yet delivered to the health ministries. That is according to the Health Committee, and that is the matter that brought the committee here. They have made their assessment. They've been going through. They have sampled actually some of those containers, of course, establishing some of them had what was in the list, and there are others that they are saying some of those materials that were supposed to be in the boxes have been kept in a different premises. Of course, saying that they are quite fragile. Those are some of the issues that are emerging here, and of course, the million-dollar question that Kenyans have kept on asking is whether they got value for money out of these containers, this consignment that was brought by the Health Committee. There have been back and forth here, even with the Health Committee. There seems to be no clear answers, of course, coming from some of the members that we've been speaking to. And right now here, I'm joined by one of the committee members, Mr. Alfred Agoy, who is the Member of Parliament for Sabatia and also a member of the Health Committee, to try and help us understand whether Kenyans are even closer to getting answers out of this particular issue. Welcome to KTN, Mr. Alfred.
Thank you very much.
We just want to understand from your initial assessment, Did Kenyans perhaps get value get value of the money out of these consignments?
Thank you. We have come here to, as a result of the exposure we had from the Ministry of Health, where 5.3 million shillings was supposedly misapplied or used in the wrong purposes, particularly the money that was meant for maternal health care having been used to buy these mobile clinics. So the health committee came here specifically to find out what has happened. We know in the budget we wanted also to support slum health facilities, and we had approved a budget for this program, but we were surprised that the money for maternal health care was being used. So we also took this opportunity to find out actually the money we put in the budget, has it been well used? Were the mobile clinics bought? And if they were bought, was the value money for money there? We have arrived here. We have sampled one clinic which has been assembled for us. We have checked with the help of our medical doctors in the committee. What we have ascertained that most of the items are there, most of the items are not there. The other containers are completely closed. One or two we checked, we found there are a few boxes which we could not ascertain what's in the boxes. So we got concerned, and we are telling the ministry that they should move very fast and accelerate this program so that Wananchi can get benefit for the money. But the major problem we are facing now is, why was the money for the maternal health care used when the budget for this program was there? The second thing is, now if the items that we have checked, we are going to do further review and checking to find out was the cost really in line with the value for money for the Wananchi who are now waiting to receive these services. And that issue we are confronting is the Ministry of Health seems not to have received these equipments. They seem not to have received these mobile clinics. And we know that there is a clear procedure in the Public Procurement and Disposal Act which spells out how payment has to be done. And the procedure is very clear. You have to supply, deliver, install, commission before payment is done. We really want to know also how it happened that 800 million exchanged hands even before the mobile clinics moved from the hands of the supplier to the hands of the government, as we have been told.
Certainly, Mheshimiwa, some of those procedures looks clearly that they were bended. What will you actually have? Has the committee perhaps determined when Kenyans can get credible answers?
As a committee, we have just received the raw data, and we are going to analyze it further so that we know how much money these items cost, if they were priced or if they were not overpriced. We also want to know if the law was bent and which sections of the law were bent, and then we will issue a statement with the effect on what needs to be done as by the mandate of the Committee of Oversight. Yes. All right.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for your time. That has been Alfred Goi, the Member of Parliament for Sabatia, and also a member of the Health Committee, of course, trying to give us surgery into what has transpired in the morning, going through the containers that were procured by the state, of course, to go to help the slum areas and many other areas in terms of health. That has been the back and forth, and we want to hand things back to you, studio.
All right, thank you very much, Francis Ontomo, there, of course, reporting live from the Parliamentary Health Committee that has been looking into the mobile container clinics bought by the Ministry of Health. Now, away from that, two Wiper members of Parliament say they will not appear before the party's disciplinary committee that is currently underway to explain why they should not be punished. The leaders, who include Mwingi Central, a member of Parliament, Joe Mutambo, are deemed to have defected from the party and are required to respond to the show cause letters sent to them before facing the committee. Mutambo says the rebel members of Parliament do not recognize the committee.
When you want to punish a member, you have to follow the law. Number one, you have to follow the law to form that committee. That committee must be formed by members, not non-members. There is no way a non-member can summon a member. And that is my argument. So if they know that I was summoned by members, then let them prove it. If I was summoned by a non-member, I will have the burden to prove it in court. And I know I was summoned by non-members. I think the way Wiper is operating, I don't think is operating in the rightful manner. I found a letter in my car. It's only that they know my car registration number. I found it just like a cancel ticket on my windscreen. That is number one. Number two, I never signed anywhere that I've received this letter. But that does not worry me. What worries me is the way they are handling the affairs of the party. And what I'm calling for as a party owner and as a party member of WIPA is for the WIPA, first, before we do anything else, to call for an election. Let us have the members of the WIPA elect their officials. Then let these officials now make a decision of the party, but not anybody from outside. But I'm not going to listen to a person who is not a non-member. That's what I'm saying. And two, I'm not going to listen to a process which is flawed. The people who are purporting to be the officials of the party, they have not been elected by anyone. And I want them to tell us where the election was conducted. We have our party constitution, which spells out very clearly there must be some election. WIPA was formed from ODM Kenya to WIPA. When did we order election to elect these so-called officials who are writing letters left, right, and center? You remember very well that the person who wrote me that letter is somebody by the name of Omar Hassan, who to me, I refer to him as a refugee in WIPA. He just came running wearing an ODM ticket, a t-shirt, because he wanted a ticket to run for senatorial, for senatorial post in Mombasa. So these are people who are not, they are not bona fide officials of WIPA.
All right, let's now speak to Nicholas Wambua, who joins us live from the WIPA headquarters. Nick, good afternoon. So, two rebel members of parliament say they will not appear before this disciplinary committee, but who are some of the members of parliament that have appeared today?
And right now we're still camping at the WIPA headquarters in Lavington, whereby the disciplinary committee, the WIPA disciplinary committee, had met today just to speak to some of the members who were summoned a few days ago, who were given letters to appear before this committee today. But as you understand, after the meeting, Michelle, is that no single member of parliament who came in person here, just as ordered to do, but instead led by the Machakos governor, Alfred Mutua, they all, 7 of them, send their representatives, that their lawyers, to represent them before this committee. And from the information that we have right now, Michelle, is that the meeting will not go on, but they will again resume on the 24th of this month, November, whereby they'll hold 2 meetings. That is on the 24th and the 25th of this month, maybe just to see that if some of the members who say that they didn't have enough time to look into the letters sent to them, so that they may appear before the committee to see whether they'll come in person or still on the 24th, they'll still send their representatives. And right now, Michelle, I'm joined by the executive director of WIPA Democratic Party, who is Jared Siso, who is going to explain to us just why or what happened into the meeting. Welcome to KTN Newsdesk, Mr. Siso. Kindly explain to us what concurred in the meeting.
Well, thank you. We as you are aware, we had we had summoned our so-called party rebels, 7 of them, and today we had a sitting of the disciplinary committee of a 5-member team led by Halon Dubi, and all of the repo members send their representative. As you said, there was an option in the notices that you can come in person or send your representative. But the disciplinary committee has an option upon reviewing of whatever that is their response to then, if they deem it fit, to have these individuals come in person. But so far today they came and did make a presentation that some of the notices were served much later, and that they could be given time to then have to be given reasonable time, so that then they will have to then prepare a case for that. And I think the disciplinary committee felt it's appropriate for them to be given this time, so that then they don't later argue that they were left out, there was no fairness, and therefore it was adjourned until the 24th of October, of November 2016, and the 26th, 2 o'clock. Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Siso, for that information. And just to know, Michelle, is that WIPA was the second party after ODM to carry out this exercise, followed by Ford Kenya, whereby last week, or this week, early this week, they took the same exercise. And we are going to see what they're saying is that a cleanup in the coalition of democracy and reforms, whereby we are seeing them cleaning up their house, that is, in the rebels who are being sent out. Back to you, Michelle.
All All right, Nicholas Wambua there joining us from the Wiper headquarters here in Nairobi. You are watching KTN Newsdesk here on KTN News. We take a short break now. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to KTN Newsdesk. Let's now have a recap of our top story this hour. Search and rescue operations are due to resume any time from now after members of the Kenya Defence Forces arrived in Kissy a short while ago. Earlier, the mission at the 10-story building that collapsed on Thursday had been put on hold. Rescuers who have been at the scene were waiting for specialized equipment from KDF, saying there was very little the excavators could do at this point. At least 6 people have been killed and more than 40 injured when the building that was under construction collapsed on Thursday. All right, let's move on to other stories now. Catholic bishops are raising alarm over the growing cases of corruption allegations in the country. The bishops want graft cases investigated and concluded rapidly. Led by the chairman of the Bishops' Conference, Philip Anyolo, the clerics also warned politicians against early campaigns. They have also pronounced a countrywide ban on politicians campaigning in churches.
It is now clear that if strong action is not taken, there is real concern for the government might not be able to control the violence that may erupt during election time. Dear Kenyans, elections come and go. We must never allow ourselves to be used for political expedience every election period, only to be left wounded, maimed, hopeless, and divided more than ever before. And hate speech, we wish to caution again and again our politicians to avoid inflammatory language and the tendency to set one community against another. There are those politicians known for uttering what amounts to hate speech. As election period is around the corner, let them promote peace and harmony among our communities.
We call upon the clergy not to use the church or the pulpit to promote any political candidate. It is important to note that church law forbids priests from engaging in politics or presenting themselves for elections to political positions. The nature of their calling makes them signs of unity to the people living in their jurisdiction. We have further stated in our earlier statements that as Catholic bishops, we are not going to allow our churches and church functions to be used as campaign platforms and forum of hate speech. As much as politicians and those aspiring to elective positions are free to worship and pray where they want, they should not use such opportunities to make their campaign statements. Consequently, politicians should not be allowed to address the congregations in our houses of worship.
Catholic bishops there condemning corruption allegations in the country. We will be speaking to Bishop Cornelius Korir in just a moment. But first, let's now cross over to Capitol Hill, where opposition leader Raila Odinga is currently having a press address.
There are some which have come from China, some will come from Nigeria, some will come from Burundi, and so on. There must be one central command. And that central command must have the powers to discipline the troops who are serving. If each every troop is going to be, group are going to be autonomous in the operations, then it cannot be a joint operation. If it's a joint, then there must be some center of command. And this is the reason they did not discipline the entire Kenyan brigade. Only an officer who they said bore the responsibility. And he's saying that if you think that that officer was unfairly targeted, then there are avenues of raising those issues without causing this kind of diplomatic row, the hula baloo over this, and then withdrawing the entire troop from South Sudan because one officer was disciplined. We think this is very unfair and unreasonable.
Just a quick follow-up. You mentioned that Deputy President William Ruto, when he went for the member conference, he was not brought up to speed with the inquiry going on. Was this fair on the Kenyan government?
That we are being told. That we are being told. We are not certain.
But if that was the case, is it a fair thing?
No, I'm just saying that I cannot confirm if you are not told this. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the manner in which Kenya has acted is irresponsible. Because you see, you have just been told a Kenyan officer has been fired. Because of this, I, as the Commander-in-Chief, am taking a decision to withdraw the entire Kenyan contingent from South Sudan. When South Sudan is still on fire, when people are still dying in South Sudan, and the Kenyan troops were taken to South Sudan in the first place to try to help bring peace in South Sudan. And that peace is not there. So you're now just telling me, because one officer was disciplined, now there's no need for us to have our troops in South Sudan, therefore we're withdrawing them. Why did we take them there in the first place?
So we're just whispering here. Could it be that Kenya is already too tired of South Sudan? We have negotiated, we've been involved, Kalonzo Musyoka has been involved, Semboyo has been involved, all these people have been involved in the peace of South Sudan. And yet they look like all the time they degenerate back to the civil strife. Do you just think Kenya is tired, even if you see the way they handled the person who was deported there? You just think Kenya is tired, and does it justify the action of the executive if Kenya say we are tired of trying to bring peace in South Sudan?
You see, these things must be discussed properly. Kenya has got institutions that are working. We have a parliament. If the government is tired, the best way to test this is to, if the government feels the Kenyans are tired, the barometer is parliament. They bring the matter to parliament and say that we sent the troops to Sudan, we now want to withdraw them, and this is the reason why. First, before you even send the troops to South Sudan, you should have taken a motion to parliament and sought parliamentary approval. That is what the Constitution requires. At Article 240, 8A, it says that the National Security Council shall, with approval of Parliament, deploy Kenyan troops to regional peacekeeping. That was not done in the first place. Then the second one, if you now want to withdraw them, you need to seek the same parliamentary approval. Go on to plan to Parliament. First, members need to be given the reason why we are taking them to Sudan, and then why we are withdrawing them. So that is where Kenyans debate. Kenyans debate through their representatives, elected, and these are members of Parliament. And this has not happened. If you think we are tired, we will say so. But you need to know what are the consequences of us.
All right, Accord leader Raila Odinga there in a press conference at Capitol Hill. Odinga is criticizing President Uhuru Kenyatta's move to withdraw KDF troops from the UN mission in Somalia, saying that the peacekeeping commander, who was a Kenyan General Ondieki, was not unfairly dismissed. And he was, of course, dismissed by UN on grounds of failing to protect civilians. Opposition leaders there condemning the president's move. And remember, Catholic bishops have also urged for the move to withdraw KDF troops from South Sudan to be reversed and for the troops to go back. We will be speaking more about that with Bishop Cornelius Korir. Earlier on, we did have Catholic bishops hold a State of the Nation address on the issue of corruption, saying that corruption scandals, corruption allegations need to be investigated and concluded rapidly. Let's now bring in Bishop Cornelius Korir, who is the chairperson chairperson of the Catholic Peace and Justice Commission. Many thanks for joining us this afternoon, Bishop. So among the things that Catholic bishops are warning about is not just the rapid conclusion of corruption cases, but also warning against early campaigns and politicians campaigning in churches. What influenced this state address? Bishop, if you can hear me, many thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Tell us more about the press conference that the bishops had earlier, and especially the issue of warning against early campaigns. What influenced this decision?
Sorry, the volume is not there, so that I follow the question correctly. You're talking about Sudan, South Sudan?
Well, yes, let's begin with South Sudan,
Hello?
Bishop. What are your thoughts on the withdrawal of troops
South
from
Sudan,
Sudan?
yes. No, we talked about South Sudan, yes, on the basis that, hello?
Go ahead, Bishop. What are your thoughts on the
Yes?
withdrawal of the troops?
Yes, in South, but we talk about South Sudan because we are worried as a church because of the influx of refugees, and then we are saying the government is to continue what they had planned before for negotiating peace, and the Kenya government cannot go back without fulfilling what they had begun. And you are saying they have also to work with the other nations, especially surrounding, because we cannot leave South Sudan the way it is at the moment. Otherwise, we will continue getting refugees always, and they are our neighbors. So we are saying, let our government continue, not to go back what we had started before. Yes, that's what we are urging the government. Yes.
Very, very valid concerns there, Bishop. Let's talk more about corruption, because this was the main aim of the press conference this afternoon. There's been a lot of talk that the clergy should be more involved in the operations of the country. What are your thoughts on the current corruption scandals?
We were saying at the moment the corruption has gone so deep in Kenya and is affecting every ministry. And we were saying that the radical change has to be done, because now as a result of that, poor people are suffering. Take for example the hospital. People are suffering, and we are saying, why innocent people suffer and there is money which is being wasted in the above that way, the way it is. And he said this has to stop. Yes.
All right. And finally, Bishop, let's talk about politicians campaigning in church and the early campaigns that the bishops have also warned against.
No, we say, at the Catholic Church, we have a guideline to be followed by all the priests and the bishop, that the churches are a worshiping place. They should not be used with politicians to misuse the sacred place, we are saying. Yes, we talk about their contribution, but the guideline of the church, we have each Christians to contribute 10%, which is God's given 10%. More than that, that is we are advocating. Then they are saying they have to use the church outside, not the church inside, for campaigning. That's what we are refusing. Yes.
All right, thank you very much for speaking to us, Bishop Cornelius Korir there, who is the chairperson of the Catholic Peace and Justice Commission. Let's now move on to other news. And in Nyeri now, where students pursuing medical laboratory courses at the Outspan Medical College in Nyeri have got a rude shock following a sudden change in admission requirements. The criteria under which they were admitted has since been changed by the Kenya Medical Laboratory Technicians and Technologists Board. Carol Nderi now reports on the agony of the students who now want a quick intervention from the government.
All is not well for the students pursuing medical laboratory courses at the Outspan Medical College in Nyeri. This batch of students is upset. because they were admitted via a criteria that the Kenya Medical Laboratory Technicians and Technologists Board now terms as obsolete. Students lamented that they had wasted 2 to 3 years pursuing medical laboratory courses and paid lots of money as fees, totaling to about 300,000 shillings for some of the students. A circular released by the board in 2012 said the students could be admitted with a C- grade, and the college went on to do so. Now the institution is claiming that the board has retracted the 2012 letter that allowed for C- admissions, terming that letter as irregular.
Doing a medical laboratory. I've been there for 2 years. We have not been registered. As per the act of the board, every student who is doing medical laboratory should be registered within 30 days on commence of training. These guys, up to 2 years, we have not yet been registered, and the act of the board says 30 days. So for me, I believe that the problem that is there is that these people were late to register us. Now the board has already changed the criteria of registering the students, and therefore they cannot recognize us because of the grades that we are admitted with. And we are crying and asking for our rights.
This time vile director alienda kuongea, alisema hakuna case nini shule imefile. Actually ni mwanafunzi ndiye alifile hiyo case. Hakuna case yenye ilifailiwa na shule. So ndio tunauliza, does that mean shule ilikuwa inajua kuna criteria mpya na wako wanatuambia na wakatuleta tulipe hiyo fee yote? Jumi sasa hata mzazi wangu alishindwa kukuja juu ya machungu yenye ako nayo. I'm the only daughter by the way. Na na expect mimi nisome niende kumsaidia, lakini nime waste over 300,000 nini shillings juu ya kukuja kusoma hapa outspan. Na mwisho nimeenda tu hivyo nyumbani. Jumi siwezi endelea na kitu yenye itanisaidia.
Sijafanya exam. Sasa tunaambiwa tuende. Ni wapi tunaenda? Tena
All right, let's now revisit our top story and keep up with the search and rescue operations at the 10-story building in Kissy town that collapsed Thursday. The rescue efforts had been put on hold earlier on, with excavators saying they needed specialized equipment from the Kenya Defense Forces. The KDF did arrive at the scene moments ago, and rescue operations are expected to resume any moment from now. Fred Muturi will be joining us with more on that. Fred, talk to us about the rescue operations. Have they resumed yet following the KDF coming to the ground?
The KDFs have just arrived some 20 minutes ago, and they have gone into the building. We can see them continuing with the work. We can see sniffer dogs going behind the rubble, down in the rubble. But I'm joined with Masai Pius, who is the National Disaster Department Manager, the National Deputy Director, and he can tell us so far what have they done. What has the army done, and is there any success in the process that is going on? Bwana Masai, we can see work going on here. So far, we can see sniffer dogs going inside the building. So far, what do you have for us?
Actually, what I can tell you is that this is a complex and a challenging operation. In that whatever you're seeing up there is metals, debris, which are not compact, that debris that are soft and requires approach. So basically, as you see here today, Kenya Defense Forces, Disaster Response Unit, have just arrived in about 30 minutes ago, coming with more specialized equipment to support these operations. As you are aware that more work here requires drillers and cutters. So basically, when they arrived here, I took them through what is happening here, and they have now understood the operation, the concepts of the operations, and also they came with sniffer dogs, which they deployed, first of all, to assess and see whether they can find live people. However, as you're aware that some people are still calling, even today towards the afternoon, saying that they're still in this building. So we expect to get lives in this building. So far now, work is going on. Extrication, drilling, cutting, and removing the debris as using systematic approach. Systematic approach I mean by you observe, you plan, and then use all techniques available to ensure that whoever is inside there alive will be alive. Whoever is inside that building and is lying in whatever way will come out the way that person is. The bulldozers you see around here, They just do work to support those work done manually and by the drillers and cutters.
I understand that the sniffer dogs went down inside the building, and you are saying that right now you cannot confirm that. So when the sniffer dogs came out, did you have any communication from them if there is life down there?
Actually, dogs are good animals, and we don't rely just what the dogs say, but the important thing is even if the dogs go down there, they come with the information, they don't give clear information, we still go and do systematic approach. So what is there, the dogs have gone down there, they're still going in other places. They have not shown any indication. But what we know, as at the morning, there are lives in this building. So we expect to get lives the way they appear. So as it is, what will come up, we expect more lives in this building.
We have got specialized machinery here. How long do you think this process is going to take around?
This operation, basically looking in the way the buildings, slabs lying on top of each other, even dangerously, whereby they don't give you enough space to operate from. So looking at it, it may take 3 to 4 days. 3 to 4 days could be. But if we speed up the exercise and we can make it, this one, achieve it within definitely 2 or 3 days. Yes.
Thank you, Bwana Masai. I'm also joined here with the regional manager, the Kenya Red Cross regional manager, Mr. Benson Simba. Benson Simba, can you give us an update on what is on the casualties? How many people you confirmed at the moment they are dead, and if you think how many people are trapped in the building?
Thank you so much. We are on our day 2 of this operation. Up to this moment in time, the mortality stands at 7. The number of casualties are 44. Out of those 44, 17 have been treated at the Kissy Teaching and Referral Hospital and have actually been discharged. The rest are still in the hospital, admitted but in a stable condition. We also have a total of 10 reported missing cases. Out of those 10 reported missing cases, we have been able to successfully close out on 2, but we still have 8 missing persons, and we suspect that those should be part of the people that will be within this rubble. We are also requesting members of the public who are in contact with any of the casualties or people might be affected by this disaster to be able to register with the Kenya Red Cross tracing tent to help us to be able to follow through and get to know what number of people do we still have within the rubble.
Do we have family members who have come out to claim that their persons are missing? And what is the number of the people who are claiming that their persons are missing when the building collapsed?
So far, 10 members of different families have come forth to be able to register with us for indicating on the number of people that are missing. But we still know that there are those who may not know about the whereabouts of the tracing desk. And so we are saying there is a Kenya Red Cross tracing desk that is behind here, and you can actually be able to register and any person that is missing, and that can help the rescue team to be able to fast track and be able to update the families, accordingly. We also, as the rescue team here, and also the county government, together with the rescue team, requesting the members of the public to actually come out and be able to donate. You notice we have about 30 casualties still in the hospital. They need blood, and we are requesting the members of the general public to come out in numbers and donate. There is a donation tent on the other end, and you can actually go in and donate blood for the sake of those that have been able to survive out of this. We also further request any members of the general public who could donate refreshments for the rescue team that is here to feel free and also do that as well. Thank you.
Okay. That was the
cutters and drillers. If we can get more people, we feel like those areas, those hires which are hanging, we require people to come with cutters and drillers. In fact, the Kissy County government, governor has been here, and
it's okay. I have to cut you because you understand that you need more cutters and drillers.
Yes.
Thank you for the message. That is an update at the moment where we understand the Kenya Defense